This time we're going to do it.
It's real.
This time
it's real. This is real, Internet. Hello, Internet. I'm Dan.
And I'm Chaz. And this is Wine is Serious Business episode, I should slow down, 237.
Yes.
And we are drinking some Oregon Pinot tonight, this time from Bergstrom. We got sent a whole load of samples. Really appreciative of it. Why don't you just lead in with how this all started?
A little while ago, a couple months ago, we did a show on the 2012 Cumberland Reserve, kind of one of the entry-level cuvées that they make out at Bergstrom.
Yeah.
Usually not a wine that I'm too fond of.
And a wine that I check in on it every year, right? Because I've been really impressed with some of the previous vintages, and so it's just one that I buy a bottle of every year and taste it, and if I like it, I'll buy a few more. Yeah,
and I'm glad he did, because I really liked that wine. So it was kind of an eye-opening moment. And afterwards, Carolyn Bergstrom was kind enough to send us a message, asked if we wanted some samples. She and Josh got together, sent us a sweet box of samples, man.
A sweet box.
They sent us only their single vineyard bottlings,
yeah.
Which is something we rarely get a chance to try. So we really appreciate it. It's a really good chance to take a look at two different vintages, kind of some of the wines that they do best. So I really appreciate that you guys feel that it was worth your time and worth the energy to send us these really excellent wines. So we sat down, tasted through, picked out our favorite four for a show.
Yeah.
And to lead off, what are we starting with here?
So the first one, I already poured it because we've attempted this show a couple times, just gathering information. This is the 2011 Bergstrom Vineyard Pinot Noir. I did not know it was from the Dundee Hills.
Yeah, so. I didn't either. So this is a winery you haven't had a whole lot of experience with. They were, by the time we got into it, right? So this is probably like 2005, 2006 vintage that Chaz and I were both pretty interested. Bergstrom had pretty established place, right?
Yeah.
So the name was made. They had a reputation for making good wines, and it was tough to kind of explore, right? Like they were moving. Well, they're still moving this high-end stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: when you go to wine shops in Portland, at least, you don't see a lot of their single vineyard bottlings.
Yeah.
Especially not some of the stuff that we saw in this box. I mean, I've had the Bergstrom Vineyard before. I want to say I actually had none of these other ones. Oh, other than Temperance Hill that I've had before. So to see some of the wines that made it on the show and some that didn't, they make a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
That we didn't even know was out there.
Yeah, and I think there's a good, there's gonna be good club following and things like that, and I think there's a whole community of people that know a lot more about these wines than we do. But
totally, but
that's what samples are for.
Really cool to see the great spread of wines. So we're gonna start with this 2011. 2011s are, at least in my opinion, are really starting to show nicely already. Like the year in bottle time has been really nice to them. I think they'll continue to be exciting wines for a while.
Plenty of good ones. The aromatics on this one are fantastic.
Yeah.
I think you get a lot of like dried rose petals, some strawberries, some good dried earth. Like there's good delicate complexity on the nose here.
A bit of, back when we were the Oregon funk guys, a bit of that like funkiness. Like it definitely screams.
There's an edge of it.
At least it tells me it's Oregon on the nose.
I agree.
Like,
I would be surprised to find that it came from anywhere else. Yeah.
Correct. And I mean, maybe it's after we looked at the bottle and was like, oh, it's Dundee Hills. But part of me wants to say that it sort of even says Dundee Hills terroir a little bit. But
yeah. It would have been fun to do these blind for that reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But really, just like the red berries, the dry earth, the dry like floral and red tea thing that's going on in the nose is just awesome. Like it is, yeah,
very
killer nose. Yeah.
I think the palate is where the terroir comes through too, because the texture here is really velvety. Like the tannins are present, but they're just really gentle, and they really support the fruit and provide kind of like this sense of fullness and structure, but not even a little bit of harshness.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The polish of the tannins here is just absolutely wonderful. They're late hitting. They sort of grip the cheeks and gums a little bit. Sort of remind you almost like of strawberry seediness, but not without the grit. Like it's like there's a lot of fresh fruit here in the palate, the way in which it comes across is really wonderful. So
there's a really good burst of strawberry fruit, I think, right on the beginning, and it just lingers on the front of the palate all the way through the experience. I get a little bit like cranberry on the mid palate, kind of the
Turns
tannins
a little tart.
some good acidity, but the strawberry flavor really just sits at the tip of your tongue for quite some time. There's a good sense of depth to it. It never gets heavy. It's got a real sense of elegance, I think, here too.
Great persistence. The flavors sort of are there initially, and with that intensity, they linger throughout the finish for a long time, still holding that intensity. Like the mid-palate length here is very long, along with the finish. A stellar 2011. Like just killer.
Yeah, really solid.
So, I mean, I think this is, and to be fair, I believe this is one of their most expensive wines.
Yep.
So.
And it tastes like it, right?
Absolutely.
It brings it. Yeah.
It absolutely delivers at that price point. I mean, we're talking, we're definitely in the upwards of $65, $70 a bottle here.
Yeah.
I think we definitely should probably look that up before the show, but
that's the neighborhood.
Yeah, people know these wines at that price point, and this one delivers at that one. It's just, it's really good.
Yeah, totally. I think it's enjoyable, and yeah, actually, I'd say too, this is one of the better 2011s I've had across the board. This is quality, and I feel that there's good potential for aging here too.
Totally.
Like the flavors are delicate, but you know, the structure is kind of there, and it's gentle. Like it's not a big wine, so it's not going to be big as it ages. This isn't something that you're going to be able to eat with like spicy tomato sauce or pizza or something and enjoy over time.
No,
but I think
no.
I think it'd be really satisfying to kind of drink by itself as it goes over time. So
the intensity level on this one is in a really nice place. Like you could drink it on its own and really enjoy it. I think it would go with a plethora of foods, but it would probably get too strong a food would lose things.
I think so.
So
anyway. Top score were
92 plus for me.
Nice. Okay.
92. I'll go. This is one of the better 2011s I've tried for this.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go 92 for me as well then. Maybe a little more hesitantly, but anyway, rock solid. And really, at any point where we can say that, like, this is an Oregon Pinot Noir that's worth spending upward, something over $60 on. That's a pretty sincere endorsement. Yeah, I don't feel that way about too many wines, and this delivers. So
thank you for the sample. We're not just blowing it up because it's a sample. I mean, this is really good wine.
It's true.
So.
Yeah, thanks.
Kill it.
Oh, rinse.
Yeah, I got the rinse for you. Sorry.
And part of the delay we've had, like I said, we've had these for a couple months. We wanted to get to them right away, but when we've got a few really nice wines to work through, we want to pick out our favorites. This isn't something that we want to do on a Wednesday night when I got to work in the morning and Chaz has been up all night. Yeah. Like, we really want some time to taste them, think about them.
Pay attention to them, yeah.
Work our way into it, so finally it's a Friday night where we've got a little bit of time to work on it. That's where we're at. Wine number 2.
So these are going to be all 2012s from here on out.
Here on out.
Yep.
Gregory Ranch. I don't know anything about this vineyard. You know anything about this vineyard?
Nothing. Located in the Yamhill Carlton AV Western Coastal Hills, the Gregory Ranches are a state farm vineyard owned by wine club members Dr. Kenton and Cindy Gregory. Wow.
That's cool.
Planted in 2007, so young vineyard. It's a Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. It's a 21-acre vineyard that sits 425 feet above the valley floor. Boasts 15 different clonal blocks on a steep hillside, exposures ranging from whatever. So
it's funny that I asked. I guess I just should have read the label.
Yeah,
I should have read the label 15 minutes before the show started. But you got some facts there. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I suspect then that the wine club member happened before the vineyard owner, right? If the vineyard's that young, I bet they've.
Yeah.
I bet they've been connected for a while. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's.
Anybody know the story on Gregory Ranch? Throw that in the comments. That'd be a good education for other people who watch the show. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look that up. So. Anyway, let's go ahead and try the wine.
Definitely a bigger wine here.
Oh yeah. Like a lot of ripeness and fruit coming out of the nose, and the intensity level is ratcheted up a lot from the 2001 we just tried.
When I was writing my tasting notes earlier, I was thinking like blood orange came to mind a lot with me, and it's showing up in this wine. I'll probably say it again before we're done with the 4.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that like kind of like dark fruity flavor that edges towards bitterness a little bit. It's not too heavy.
Yeah.
And I'm getting some like dark cherries and black earth going on here too.
See, to me it was like that sort of almost bitterness and tartness came from like sort of a pomegranate. There was a little bit of that going on.
Sure.
And then like I got plums.
Yeah.
Like almost even underripe, like not underripe plums. I guess I shouldn't say it like that. It was just like plums with a very tart sort of I don't know. Just I could get a sense of the skin. But an interesting nose, right? Like definitely more dark fruited, and yeah, ripe.
Yeah, so. Good complexity here. Yeah.
Interesting, but big mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of those bigger dark fruits really like roll in quickly. This big burst of flavor on the front end of the palate. And the tannins kind of settle in again. I think there's like a little edge of tannic bitterness kind of across the mid palate. But I really like what kind of captured, I think, both of us about this wine when we were pre-tasting it, is that there's a really good sense. There's kind of like this ethereal fruit and floral thing that lingers on the finish.
Ooh.
Or at least I feel that way.
Yeah, you felt that way. So for me, initially, it was the balance of this wine. Because like while the intensity levels dialed up, a couple of the other wines sort of had like, you could definitely sense the alcohol in them, right? Like the 2012, some of the vineyards were a little warmer.
Sure.
This one, like it definitely, it's you know, about just above 14%. It really holds that alcohol well. Like the fruit intensity really sort of hangs on the whole time. There's no gaps in it. It has just a great expression throughout the entire palate. So it's good.
Yeah, and I'd say it's like peering into the territory of being too big, for sure. But there are these like rose notes on the palate that really kind of save it for me. There's this like sense of delicacy like overriding these big dark flavors that provides a little bit of contrast.
Yeah, like in the mid palate and finish. Yeah, it's like a rose petal, almost like a tea component. But there's still a lot of richness. Like there's it's almost like a, this strawberry cake or something like that. There's some sort of like strawberry shortcake where you chop up the strawberries, like a little bit of syrup, and it's really, really good richness on the finish. It's quite delicious. So overall, a really nice wine. Not as, step down in complexity from the previous wine, but overall really delicious. Delivers. It's good.
Yeah. So a little less excitement in the moment. So this is 89 points for me. Again, that little bit of bitterness in the mid palate is a little bit of a detractor. But what kind of captured me about this is I really like kind of the intensity of some of the flavors. I like the complexity, and I feel that this will age really well. I think that this needs a little bit of time to integrate because the enjoyable components are a little bit distinct at this point, and I think after a year in bottle even, like it'll come together a lot more. A little bit of those structural elements will back off just a little bit, and I think it'll be a pretty enjoyable experience then. But I like the complexity now.
I agree. I think it's still drinking well now, so I wouldn't like hesitate if you ended up with some bottles and wanted to try one out. Like you should definitely try it out because it's got some great complexities as of now. Big pour. But as Dan said, I think a little bit of time in bottle will do this really well. I'm gonna go 89 plus. Probably, I agree with Dan pretty much wholeheartedly on this. This is a really nice wine. So.
Okay.
Third wine.
Moving on with the rinse.
The Shea.
There we go.
Big Shea.
Big old Shea. Yeah. So vineyard kind of everybody knows.
Oh, I just.
Big rinse. Do it.
Oh,
do it.
Shit.
What else are you doing tonight? Chaz's girlfriend's out of town. I'll rinse twice. He'll take one big rinse. We'll put it to good use.
Ow.
Yeah. Chaz's night in. You're seeing it develop. So. I think pretty much anybody watching this show knows Shea Vineyard, right? Kind of the flagship of Van Hill Carlton.
I mean, if wine to experience this.
There you go. All right. Kind of known for some big wines. I guess we'll say that too. So Bergstrom has kind of gone through a shift since when we first discovered them. They were really known for making really big style Pinot Noirs, and when we discovered them in the years of 5 and 6, like if you,
and even 7,
if you were the kind of guy that wanted to make big Pinot Noirs, big wines in Oregon,
you made them.
Man, the fruit was there for you.
Yep.
And it was really cool hearing Josh talk at the Chardonnay Symposium lately. He's about our age, so he's like it's been an interesting evolution for himself, even as like being a younger guy and ambitious and trying to make the big wines, and like over time realizing that there's like other ways to make great wines and kind of reaching for new styles. And it's really fun to see that come into play. I think
that's just like how our palate, at least how my palate sort of went,
Totally, And I think like this bottle in particular, like really
speaks to that.
Shows that shift. Yeah.
All right, so the Shea Vineyard is a huge vineyard. You should keep in mind.
Yeah.
Just because like one bottling comes from one place, I mean, literally there are 10 vineyards within the Shea Vineyard.
Yeah.
Like it is gigantic.
And a warmer place. So I guess as a talking about the changing style, if you wanted to make a bottle of blueberry syrup, call it Pinot Noir, 2012 Shea Vineyard probably would have let you do that, right? So.
Yeah.
Purple.
If you want to make a purple wine, you could make it from the Shea Vineyard. So, all right. So,
yeah. You can definitely tell there's like more ripeness here. I'm getting a little bit of heat on the nose, kind of some black earth.
This one, so
dark fruits.
Yeah, dark fruited, big time. I remember writing like a little bit of a tasting on this. And it was like blackberries meets a hint of black licorice. Just
that's totally what it is. Yeah,
there's like you got that little tinge
like
of
that,
richness on the finish, or on the nose, I guess just to say. But just like on the end of it, right? You smell it. It's all like red blackberries, and then just like a little hint of black licorice. So it smells awesome. I mean,
a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, I mean, it smells really good. Can't fault it. I love 2012s.
Big wine.
Yeah. And it's weird because the nose presents a lot of fruitiness, and I get a lot of earthiness initially. Like initial touchdown is a lot of dark earth and like brambly blackberries.
It's true.
Which is sort of
on point
not expected. Which is kind of cool at the same time, right? Like you're sort of expecting like, oh, it's gonna be a ripe fruit bomb, and no, it's got a little more to say, a little more complexity there.
It's definitely more reserved. Like it's got, I think that black earth thing is something that really shows through. It's kind of got this dark character without being too jammy. Like there's definitely fruit presence, but it's not overwhelming at all. The structural elements really hold their own without being bitter or overwhelming or grating in any way. Like,
and the alcohol, while it can be felt, like there's definitely a hint of alcohol here. It doesn't overwhelm any sort of element of the palate. The fruit, the structure. For you, does it? I mean, no. I mean, it definitely hangs behind everything, which is really nice. And again, like good richness throughout, great fruit presence.
Like I keep waiting for it to get too big, and it never does. Like the acidity, I think is in a good place. Like there's a good kind of like apple character to the acidity that provides some like lighter and clearer flavors that sit over the dark fruit late. I think. And kind of keep things fresh at the end. It kind of makes it easy to reach for another glass, I think, too.
The tannins are in an easy place, too. For being a 2012 and being so young, this is not a tannically overwhelming wine. Like the Gregory Ranch, for being such a young vineyard, had really firm tannins, and this is not in that place. Like the tannins are in a lighter, more easy to drink place.
Color's not too dark here, like
This is really a very nice Shea wine. Honestly, it's got complexity. It caught me off guard, like with how interesting it was.
And I'd say those of you who drink a fair amount of Oregon wine have some familiarity with the Shea Vineyard. Considering 12 is like a warmer vintage, academically, I think this is a really interesting wine. Because it really shows some of the dark character that Shea is famous for, without like a lot of the heat and kind of juice and kind of like over the topness that Shea is sometimes looked down on for, or loved for, depending on how you drink. But
exactly.
But I think this is really interesting, well put together. And now it's tough to separate like academically interesting from like how much I'm really into it. But we're gonna go 90 plus. Solid. I would enjoy drinking multiple glasses of this. Cool wine.
Yeah, I was struggling with the score too, but I mean, it really is just one. It's one of the better at this point. One of the better 2012s I've tasted. To say that, I mean, and we're still definitely ramping up in our 2012s. We're definitely tasting a lot of entry level stuff still. We're just now starting to crest into the higher end stuff. As far as the higher end stuff, the small amount I have tasted, this is definitely one of the more interesting ones. 91 plus for me. I really like it. So
cool stuff.
Finish my sample here.
Keeping up with the off-camera pour here. Wine number 3. This is the Temperance Hill Vineyard. So you got your rinse already?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Just pour it. Okay. Temperance Hill makes rad wine.
Down in the old Amity.
And Temperance Hill seems to make a lot of people we love make wine from Temperance Hill. That must be it must be another huge one.
No, shout out to Di Crisp, right? Like he's vineyard manager there. He's done a lot of great work. Really well respected in the industry. Like his fruit is used by a lot of great producers.
Yeah, there's a lot of good producers turning out awesome wines from this vineyard.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out.
And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see, right? That like someone who's really committed to the farming is able to get the fruit out and have a bunch of different people give their takes.
100-acre Temperance Hill.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's big. All right.
Yeah, big stuff. But yep, just one of the landmarks of the Eole Amity AVA for sure.
Agreed.
So, yeah. I'm having a different experience now than when I had my pre-taste of it, and I think part of it's talking about the Eole Amity AVA. Like now, I'm starting to get feelings that put suggestions in my mind of violets from that area. Now I'm like, oh yeah, just like violets. But
it definitely has a hint of floral. It reminds me of sort of like the blackberry patch a little bit.
Sure.
You're definitely smelling a little bit of like the blackberry flowers, but the the berries, the ripe berries on the stem too, and like the whole thing. But there's a load of richness here in the nose. Like it wasn't like, whereas the Shea was a little bit of like, you could sense something else different going on. This is just rich black fruit to me on the nose. So
I'm getting some of that, but I'm also getting like some leather and some like dried earth in there as well. And like some dried roses as well as the violets. It's a great complexity on the nose, really. I think both of us were excited about this when we pre-tasted it.
I totally agree with the leather.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a darker component to it. I was kind of struggling with where I would go with the tasting note on that, but like it's like leathery black fruit. I don't know. Smells awesome. So.
Yeah. Boy, tannins are in a good place too. This is smoothed out even from when we pre-tasted it.
Right.
This is silky right now. Yeah.
These have been open for what, about 2 hours at this point?
Jeez, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
About 2 hours. We've been hanging out for a little while.
Yep.
All of them kind of going through a little bit of evolution.
Definitely, as most wines will, right? Like,
yeah. But man, the way that the mouthfeel is on this is right now, it's completely silky and velvety. Like it's blanketing and just doesn't diminish. Like it's sort of all goes away from your tongue at the same time.
It is fantastic. So tip, definitely, if you crack a bottle of this anytime soon, decant it, right? Drop it in the decanter for an hour, or leave the bottle open on the counter for an hour and a half or something like that, because the texture right now is spot on, I think. Great, the tannins are present, but they're just elegant all the way across.
The only ripe fruit that I get like initially in the palate is sort of cherries, but it leads into like a big burst of sort of citrus and tart red fruits.
Yep.
Like maybe raspberries, definitely leaning into pomegranates. I think you've got my mind thinking about blood oranges or even a hint of orange.
Totally there again. Yeah.
Like it's got a little bit of that, maybe like grapefruity, just a hint of that, but like a very broad range of flavor here, right? Which is really cool to experience.
Just like a crazy bowl of fruit, right? Yeah, raspberries, strawberries, pomegranates, like.
I like that taste. This is a crazy bowl of fruit.
It really is. Great acidity all the way through. The fruit's really fresh too. This isn't like none of it's a little overripe. Like none of it's a little funky. This is like fresh and welcoming.
Wow.
And complex and delicious. It's a little bit big. Like this is definitely a little more on the elegant side. This is way more on the like let's play, right? Like this is a party, party in your mouth kind of like it. Yeah.
I almost said something bad.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Good job, Jazz. No bleeps today. Hopefully, this is saving work for me.
No, this is a wonderful wine, and like stepping from the Shea, which the Shea was a complex, very interesting wine. This is like a little more direct. The intensity level.
I'll give it. Yeah, I'll give it that.
Like it's the first time I've ever said that about a Shea wine. The Shea made you think a little bit, right? Like it made you think a little bit about it. This is immediately pleasing and very complex. Right? I mean,
and in contrast to Gregory Ranch, like
together.
It's integrated right now. Too,
yeah.
Right. Like
it's drinking
well,
wonderfully.
we said like decant. It's been open for a little while, but
finished his glass like
yeah,
5 seconds.
All right.
And it's the end of the show. So.
But this is definitely more straightforward. It's complex. There's a lot of good stuff going on. I think these two definitely give you more to think about. You're kind of sitting like really dig into it, and this one's a little more in your face, but
it's a little more in your face, a little louder. I guess is like the Shea wasn't so loud. This is a little.
I
louder.
can't believe we're saying that. That might be the only time that's ever been said about a comparison of those two vineyards.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And honestly,
really?
like if I were having 6 people over for like a nice dinner or something, like let's pull one right now. If I was doing it with food, it'd be this. If it was something like sit down and drink, kind of think about, this is the one that's most ready to go right now.
With food, with a dish, this would be awesome. Some sort of pasta or whatever.
Yeah, like
pizza.
Pork dish, even a beef. I don't think like a big steak necessarily, but like beef cooked into something, or like risotto. Like this could stand up to it. The fruit flavors just really kicking.
Yep. Great structure, great intensity. Where do I go with the score on this? I mean, like 91 plus, 92 points. I mean, I like the Shea in it. Sort of. I want to score them almost the same because the Shea, they're two different beasts. But I think this one's a little bit better. I definitely enjoy this one a little bit more right now. That said, I don't know what'll happen to these other wines, but this is Dan says it's integrated. It's wonderfully delicious now, but it could age.
The echoes on the palate are really solid too. That's going to take it to 92 points for me. I know that's up there. This is one of the best 2012s I've had so far.
Nice.
Right? I mean, not that we've had that many.
No,
right? A
but
lot of the premium ones are yet to come.
This has a huge box of premium wines, and I mean, like, these are really, truly premium wines. It's awesome.
So thanks again,
Thank
man.
you.
Like this is in the price point that when like Chaz and I go shopping for bottles to pick up, we don't get a chance to try things like this too often. So
no, we commit to wines like these once every quarter.
6 months or so. Yeah, quarter at best.
A quarter at best. Yeah. And so we're like, it's a $150 show. Like, you know, and we get 2 wines. So it's
thanks
really special to
for giving us the chance to learn about this stuff. Thanks for making such nice wines too. Boy, it makes it easy to do the show on.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So, I was going to give. Well, I want to give a couple shout outs. We had some nice comments on YouTube, which again we don't monitor as much as we should. I'm trying to be better about that.
Facebook's easier.
Man, but Facebook does a crappy job of getting our word out to the world. So quick shout outs. I'm not going to read all their comments, but I want to give a thank you to iCooper67 and Mike Walter, giving comments talking about stolen cars on the show. One guy said he had a car stolen. Here, I have my hand talking about the comments. He had his car stolen out of the University of Portland parking lot, and they found it 6 blocks away. And iCooper67 said that he had an '87 Sirocco almost catch fire, which is a pretty good story. And then regarding the restaurant closure question of another previous episode, John Muir commented and said that you guys are effing troopers. You don't get S for views, but keep making videos. It's true. I mean, we've got a good core of local followers, I think, which we really appreciate and love. A lot of the people that watch the show we know personally. We'd love to grow beyond that. Yeah. But I don't know you, John. So thank you for watching the show and caring enough to comment.
Thank you for the comment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we look forward to doing more. So.
To be honest, this show is just a fun. It's a good reason to get together with one of your best mates and get drunk.
Yeah, it's true.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and if you're on Facebook, it does a crappy job of pushing us out there. So the little carrot right up there, click that down. You can get notifications from us whenever we update. Question of the day.
Also, where I was going to go with it was, we don't get a chance to drink a lot of premium labels very often.
Yeah, it's true.
But you know, get excited about them from time to time when we have really good ones. Yeah. What's the last premium wine that you've had that really popped your cherry? You know,
totally, like right on the upper edge of your price point. That you're wherever that is. For some people, that's like I splurged and bought a $30 wine. For some people, that's like I splurged and bought a $300 wine. Yeah. And it delivered. Like, let us know.
Yeah.
Tell us what that wine was.
How high has that gotten, and what was it? So.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for watching. We'll see you
guys next time. Bye.